welcome. So glad you're here today. Today's video is going to be all about the Clothesline rope bowls. I make these bowls and these are my most popular videos, and I've gotten so many comments, so many thank yous from people for giving these detailed instructions on how to make these easy clothesline rope bowls. And I love doing it and I love making the videos, but I thought I would answer some of the most asked questions regarding the rope bowls and just give you some hints and tips. So first of all, I started making these about 3 years ago, and I had seen the idea on Pinterest, and I started making the ones that you wrap fabric around the clothesline. And that was fun. I enjoyed doing that, but it takes twice as long to me to cloth wrap and sew than just to do the clothesline rope. So I decided to find a way to make the clothesline rope bowls without the fabric. And I thought about dyeing the rope. And this is the rope I use. I get it from Walmart. It's 100 foot 3/16 inch, and it's a nice heavy duty cotton. So I use that, and I wanted to come up with a way without having to use the RIT dye, because that gets in your skin and your clothes and it's expensive. So I experimented and came up with a way just using acrylic paint and water. And my rope bowl playlist is in the description box, so you can go and watch all the videos on these bowls and how that process works. So let's go back and talk about the number one question I get is, are these waterproof? And that's kind of a yes and no question. We do use outdoor clothesline rope, which is pretty much waterproof. 100% cotton. That's my number one tip, is do not try to dye poly cotton rope, because the polyester, the paint will not adhere to it. I always use 100% cotton rope. That's why I like this brand. I have made it with the poly cotton. They're soft. They don't hold their shape, so I only use 100% cotton. So back to the question, are they waterproof? The rope is waterproof. The acrylic paint will not wash out. It is permanent. So in that regard, yes. But, and if you put a water-based sealant on it, it makes it even more waterproof. But my question to those that ask that is, why would you want to put water in it? If you put a plant in it, make sure you put a plastic liner so you don't mess up your bowl. Now, long-term water exposure is going to make the bowl weak and it won't stand. So I guess I would really say no, they are not meant to hold water. If you want to put a plant in it, please put a plastic liner, because you're going to, over time, keep watering and watering, and then your base will get weaker and weaker. So that's the number one question. If you splash some water on it, it's fine. If you want to fill it with water or put plants in it and water, always use a liner. All right, the next question is regarding the rope. I like to use the smaller size because it makes a really beautiful bowl. Now, I have off of Amazon bought this clothesline rope. It's 100 feet, but it's really thick, and it's 100% cotton. But it is thick and it's soft. It's not firm like this rope. So I did make a bowl, and I want you to see the difference in using a thicker rope. You get a really big bowl. This is the yellow ombre bowl, but it is huge. So I don't like this one as much as I like the smaller version, but this would be beautiful with a plastic liner, set out on a porch, fill it with plants. So If you use a bigger rope, you're gonna get a bigger bowl. Now, another tip, the bigger your base, when you start sewing these, and make sure you go check out those videos on how to start sewing. The bigger your base, the wider, bigger your bowl. So you can see this base looks like about 8 inches across, whereas this base is smaller, so my bowl is a little bit smaller. But this is pretty. I like the yellow. I started with a dark. When I went to Walmart, I went to the yellow section of paints and I just picked up dark, a little bit lighter, light. And that's how you get this graduating color. I dyed the base in the dark and went to a little bit lighter, and then extremely light at the top. And you can see I went back with a paintbrush and just did that little in the middle there. There's just so many things you can do with your paints. But this is using a much bigger rope. So I don't know that I'll make a lot more of these. I'm thinking about it. I've got to do something with this. But my favorite is the smaller cotton rope. So we're going to set this right here. I'm going to go over a few of the different techniques. The paint, I use just regular acrylic paint from Walmart. Right now I have got 2 tubs full of paint that I've had for years, and I'm going to go through that and clean that out and use all that up first before I go buy any new paint. So this particular bowl, I got the idea off of Pinterest. There is this Southwestern plate dishes set, and it had all of these colors pretty much lined up like this. And I have no use for Southwestern decor because that's not what my house is, but I love these colors. So this is what I did with this bowl. So if I have anybody that really loves the Southwest, Arizona, Texas colors, they've got a bowl for them. But you just start dyeing the rope in different sections, and you can see I followed that plate exactly. I started with the clay color, a little bit of sand, went back to clay, there's some purple, and then ended up with the deep night sky blue. And I really like this one. I think it turned out really pretty. Now sometimes I don't dye the bowl and I just paint it after I have sewn it together. Now you can see how wide this base is, so that's how wide the bowl is, and it's not as tall. I did this one and I just sewed the rope just like this with a white thread. Then I went back with my acrylic paint and I did not water the paint down, and I marked off with tape, and I did red, white, and blue. This is my July 4th bowl. I put napkins and plasticware if we have a party. I set this out, and I have a video on how to make this. Then I just hot glued some buttons around the edge. So I did not dye this bowl, but I did use the acrylic paint after I have sewn it and created this nice wide bowl. And I use this for parties. Now, I'm getting a lot of views on this bowl. This one I just dyed it, the rope white, and I used white thread, and I used napkins to decoupage it with. So every time I'm out at a little specialty gift shop or anywhere, I look for napkins. And this particular napkin had all the pretty blue roses. Well, I do my kitchen in blue and white. I had this blue velvet in my stash, and so I put it together, and this is probably one of my most popular videos on how to do this. And of course, you've got to use Mod Podge. A tip on the Mod Podge, I like the matte finish versus the gloss. I think it looks pretty. You don't notice it as much as if you were to use the gloss. So you gotta have Mod Podge if you are going to be using napkins. Now this bowl I made for Easter, And I used these cheap napkins that I purchased at a little gift shop. And I decoupaged them on this bowl, which was painted white. The napkins show up much better on a white bowl than a colored, one that's been dyed a color. And then I did loops, and I have this in the video, and then I wove some pretty gold and purple ribbon through it for Easter, and I had Easter eggs in it. Now that Easter is over, I'm going to pull this ribbon out. I want to get some yellow and white check ribbon and run it through it, and then I can leave this out the rest of spring. But I just thought this one was really pretty, just a unique idea. You could always put a handle on it, the clothesline rope, but I really enjoyed making this one using the napkins and the Mod Podge. Now sometimes the bowls don't turn out, which is fine. I experiment a lot. And this one I made to go with that tray I decoupaged recently with the beautiful hydrangea napkins. And see how dark? You can't really see the flowers. But I came up with a new top. I made loops, and then I went back and wove the rope in and out. But that's okay. I use this in my bathroom, and it holds my hot curlers, clips, and my brush, and all of my hair clips that I put. So I just set this up on the shelf in my bathroom, and it may not be my prettiest basket, but I can use it now. And that was one of the questions I get is, are these just decorative? And actually no, I use this one to hold all my paper and cloth napkins on my counter. This one I will store stuff in. You can make gift baskets, and I have a video on where I took a yellow basket and made a planter out of it, putting a plant and a little bird's nest and some birds. And then I also made one to put gardening gifts in. They're nice and deep. They hold a good amount of items. So you can make these as gift baskets. At Christmas time, I gave a lot of these out, and I had put cloth napkins in them and coasters and gave these as Christmas gifts. So there's just so many different things you can do. And towards the end of the video, I will give you a peek at all the bowls that I have made, and you can go back to the playlist and get those ideas. So like I said, you can use paper napkins to decoupage. You can also use cloth. And on that gift basket idea, I used cloth. Now, to make cutting out easier, put the Mod Podge directly on this, let it dry, and then cut your piece out and Mod Podge it to your basket. So if you've got some really pretty cloth, you could do the same thing as you do the napkin. Now look at this, I just picked this up recently. So now it's red roses, so I'm like, I gotta do a red basket like this with these pretty roses, and either a pink or red ribbon would be gorgeous. So again, these things are easy to make. They're inexpensive. You just need a few items: Mod Podge, acrylic paint, your clothesline rope, and let me tell you, I learned the hard way. You need to buy good thread. This is Coates and Clark. Don't be tempted to buy this cheap mess at Walmart, because while you're sewing, it will break over and over and over again. I'm just about ready to throw this away. Buy the expensive thread, because it makes all the difference in the world in how fast you can sew, and the thread doesn't break, and it just saves your sanity. So if you have any questions about any of these bowls, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you think, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. I really enjoy making these instructional videos. I do it free for you to watch. I just ask that you share these videos. It helps out my channel. and I've got so many ideas in this brain. I want to do a beach theme, shore to ocean video. So I'll start with the sand brown, the way the foam color, and then the deep blue of the ocean. So I've got that one in my mind, and I've also got a floral Mother's Day basket in mind. So I've got so many ideas in this brain. I'm trying to find the time to make them all. But if you have any questions, please leave those. I will give you different pictures of the bowls that I've made and given away as gifts that I don't have here today. But it's so much fun, and thank you all so much for watching and leaving those lovely comments. It just does my heart good to know that you all are enjoying these type of videos. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Have a very blessed day.